And there has been a theme when it pertains to you being proximate to sports, athletics, and seeing blind spots that other folks don't see and building infrastructure to solve it. What led to you establishing an influencer, and then what was the blind spot that you saw that everyone else didn't see?
Well, in the early 2010s, we had the commissioner of the SEC, Greg Sankey, walk into one of our Iron Tribe gyms
Yep.
and become a member.
Yep.
And Commissioner Sankey is from Syracuse, New York, like I am. Ended up here in Birmingham, so we had that in common. I knew him from church. We had gone to the same church, Brook Hills, and now he's a member at the gym. And so we became acquaintances, friends through that. And I watched him go from the second in charge of the SEC under my friend and mentor, Mike Slive, who's passed away and was an amazing man to me so many ways. And he's also, Mike Slive, the previous SEC commissioner, also from Syracuse, Utica, New York, just east of Syracuse. So I don't know what it is about Birmingham and the SEC and whatever. I always say we're in the witness protection program. But I watched Greg Sankey go from being number 2 to the head guy, and I watched, him take on that role, and I would talk to him a lot. And in 2016, Ed O'Bannon won his case against the NCAA. For the improper use of his name, image, and likeness in a video game created by EA Sports, the college basketball video game. And when that happened, I talked to people like Greg, not just Greg, other people I knew from my previous business, NextSpecs, when I was building the recruiting stuff. I had enough contacts. I wanted to hear, what do you think about this? And could this ever become part of college sports? And you think the rules will change and all that kind of stuff. And so in 2016, I felt like Iron Tribe was at a really good place. Fitness is tough.
Yeah.
It's a fad business. I didn't want to be in it forever. And so I went to Forrest, asked him for a buyout. We already had it in our partnership agreement. That's another lesson here is when you're going to partner with somebody, have the exit thought out, have a multiple for the EBITDA or top line revenue or both in there so it's spelled out. Our buyout, it took literally a couple weeks.
Oh, you can.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, boom.
Wow.
And so I worked on Glow with Yaz, but I also started traveling around meeting with athletic directors and people that work at colleges. And my thesis after a few months was name, image, and likeness is not a matter of if, but when.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be ready for it. So I need to build a business now that works with schools and helps athletes with something proximate to name, image, and likeness so that whenever it actually happens, we can help with that too.
Right.
And so we launched Influencer in late 2017. And ultimately it was technology for schools and pro teams to buy to help their athletes on social media. Basically, it's a place where athletes could get all the pictures and videos of themselves shot by the media, shot by their school, so they could share it to social, a place where they could look at analytics and the growth of their brand and understand how to grow their brand. And we grew really fast. By 2019, this little new software company out of Birmingham, Alabama, had clients like Duke and North Carolina and USC and Arizona State and like all these schools, Right. And so it was really cool to watch it grow. But also by 2019, legislation had been passed in California that basically made NIL not only inevitable, but it was going to happen by 2021.
Right.
It was going to start in college sports in 2021. And so Teamworks, a bigger software company that already had clients in pros and college across the globe, they came to us and said, we want to buy your company. We want you to stay on board as CEO, and we want you to be the tool for NIL when it starts in 2021.
Wow.
So I did that deal. And it was a good cash deal, but it also came with stock in a company that I believe could go public and really grow to be a really good-sized company. And that's why I stayed on board.
Wow.
And we built for NIL. And in 2021, when NIL started, we built financial tech, fintech, to allow the schools to be able to give the athletes a place to take all the money they were getting paid from collectives, from brands, so that they could be issued a 1099, one 1099 at the end of the year for all the different deals they do. And so the deals could be reported for compliance purposes, which was part of the rules when NIL started. So it was a crazy journey, kind of how it all went down. But for me, it was a lot of fun trying to take a risk, but based on a prediction that I really felt strongly about.
Right. And you know what's interesting, I also heard you speak about one of the issues that athletic departments, colleges, and universities have a tough time navigating is just getting the word out, getting the message out. And it was just a beautiful illustration. It may have been a different panel discussion that I heard you speak about it. Like, hey, this person has 100,000 followers. This person got 200,000 followers. Let's just collectively align our messaging, and we could probably help offset some of the expenses when it pertains to marketing and get directly to the audience that you're looking to get in front of. And so there was a ubiquitous value proposition if it wasn't for the college and university, if it's for the athlete, because even as we get into this next phase of what NIL has evolved into, these athletes are learning that, yeah, you got to be gangster on the field, but we need something to look at, right? Like you got to have some type of value proposition tied to it.